know, I hate that.
Who else is judging? Sarah?
Spends the extra time to roll
Who's
it up.
judging?
Abby, you, and me.
I am sitting around the corner. You just can't see this.
Hi, Abby.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, Abby, I've been giving them 8 minutes of prep, but not.
Cool.
But the prep time doesn't stop until they have a jump drive ready to hand the other team.
Are you in charge of time?
Yep.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
That's the best part of this whole
Should
system.
have like trained it off positively.
Tim is the adult.
You've robbed the tournament of like the one thing that makes it unique.
The bells.
But he's added another thing that makes it
The
unique.
big bell.
Camera rolls. They're like Grandpa Mahoney rolls.
And really, it's just 1 minute of judge prep. Your prep time is still 7 minutes, but there's 1 minute of judge prep, which is offset by the amount of time you need to save things to a flash drive. Hopefully.
It's a good trade-off.
And if you're incompetent with a flash drive, well, learn how to use one.
You should not be incompetent with the flash
It's
drive
an
at this point
important,
in
it's an
time.
important skill.
Yeah.
I can start as soon as you have it up. Like down table. Now are we ready? Advantage 1 is space weather. Space weather risk is high and set to peak. The impact is immediate. Mouse Woods 11. Space weather can pose serious problems. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and how big. Space weather is becoming dire. As the sun ran solar maximum in 2013, we were beginning to look at more solar events with strong events of February 14th. Flare unleashed as Antarctica touch immediately towards Earth once mass. Objectives are opportunity to cause work. Damage space weather is both such as fair before we thwart us dependent on satellites. We've got to be clear. By these events, otherwise, we're not taking them seriously. In space weather collapses global railway and transport systems have good intensity. Trains were not vulnerable to space weather. Modern electric trains are space weather can drive additional currents and railway systems. It is important that all countries are aware of the effect they have on signal systems and staff. Can resolve the problems as quickly as emerging train technologies allow to communications that are vulnerable to solar radio where center. Fears to break those links and bring a railway move into a hard transport business exposed to a raised space weather and electric railways are key to agricultural transport breakthrough generations. A rail transportation do seems to be transported quickly. High speed rail can fill that oil and perils the journey vital goods electrifying existing rails and maintaining the existing railway infrastructure is a matter of national security, and that's key to U.S. ag industry. Coal manufacturing, irrigation are basic inputs almost every farm and business. U.S. agriculture is dependent upon the effectiveness of transportation. Since the collapse of U.S. ag base, their impacts inevitable cause extinction, Lugar to pay, and they're working in front of terrorism, nuclear threats, disease, lose such a lot. Range challenges we just on our own power to 6 levels of preventing starvation, but also world peace, work defeat the world, minimize factors contributing to global instability. These can take a leading position in productivity, revolution, sex and food, revolution, make the world to survive with the planet, increasing civil SSA data sharing without military secrecy, utilizing interagency information and solves have good tenant response. Issue build robust assets that can operate through weather conditions, response to bad space weather, which alter the activities of reduce such as reduce the risk of destruction, cost may be bid on integration existing procedures that respond to external conditions and relies on obtaining information on space weather conditions convert to useful form basic information can be of access to information should improve the USSA programs to promote good awareness of space weather mitigates attacks with good SSA USSA with the cross station program including key players NASA and OAA awareness will allow business work to address the problems that can operate important knowledge and be facilitated by ways to sustain information exchange stuff and tamper by issues confidentiality space industries that need to share anonymous data by releasing a name phone anonymous forms that need to increase awareness of space weather and civil society needs to be in space and shared among governments and solve weed and the same for important cards on space weather accurate position or data work of sensors that are taken around the earth or with the image until affairs like short particles in the manner to the containment of space successful modern concentration that place where they can monitor the one important in the prime location the requirements of the geographically disputed states by the monitor gas and take strongly international cooperation state sharing space centers are criteria they're sharing between governments for as working data set any current cooperation on data under a single agency that means it'll fail on throughout these individual agencies as we're to collaborate with the officer and encourage of data network coordinated against WS no international working data space law of capability with the satellites found to long the router and source of access to data but the forecast can be a wide variety of data currently exists but also assist in situational awareness is a critical stage of a dedicated civilian organization holds us back then the 10 current means of choosing SSA or adequate data generation to national base not fairly traded global ways to integrate the ability of words to avoid proximal practical so that international cooperation natural source of data studies and characters that may be considered sensitive use as most significant actions such as ensure will shape these systems in the U.S. as the primary access actor for the U.S. interest and function to it. No natural asset and any would be negative as organizations by the large so you can take access to it. There is motive effective space sensitive but also minimize the secondary measure with it. These services allied parts of the organization will be disadvantaged to the end. Unless the organization will be distrusted the U.S. collaborative partner and U.S. led cooperative SSA encourages international cooperation. We did not international civil SSA was a way of correcting situational parts of the station to the between military and civil SSA. Civil SSA they provide the capabilities to characterize the capabilities of the non-detective against the requires a global solution only the U.S. military capability to maintain dialogue space or that capabilities to jurisdictions. Digital telescopes almost complete like the southern hemisphere comes to international humanity to access the data such as will also many other benefits. Granting cooperation among states rights to motive reflect the fear, conflict results from fear, predator state state for future space governance, modern Spanish use aerospace first bioterror attack is inevitable by 2013. Ms. NBC and use can extend logical weapons war can be Turkey or technology the terror set lack the ability but once the Japanese and Leo ground terror can fight that is spoken more likely to be a pursuit within nuclear because nuclear facilities are already destroyed opportunity to be compromised or weaponization or fear technology order to have research where to pass and increase their access to new gene manipulation increase risk of bioweapons. Ms. NBC 1217 gene technology offers benefits scientific that can be used by terror attack to where the increased needs of bioweapons such as the particular represents speed of creation of artificial virus and bacterial the bacteria to recruit scientists group that's effective weapon can be made using a small scale with passage into college level chemistry to go global 797 paths. The gens are allowed to nuclear chemical weapons that are reproduced on paths. The gens elect for hospitals police patch and official inspection of victims and not that bad. Then the entire world population of bioweapons that way and cause extinction off to a nuclear winter attack. Easier to control bioweapons to get out of control very easily and generate to direct the kilometer and human express radiation extinction is now possible and bioproof government responses are inevitable. Only aerospace problem self-transparency for BWC fin. No 99 the U.S. response to automotive facility. OS after the idea of not for region and switches special warfare. Aerospace power and the major elements of satellite areas such as the force fighters, aerospace power resistance and standing engagement activities that help prevent proliferation because aerospace power is able to strike at the distance of great position. Aerospace is voting increased transparency. The USB called about green tea then none of that's got aerospace for flight airport or BWC both of air. Aerospace transparency is self detection, deterrence, and destruction fin. No 99 in terms of the CWD's aerospace will be a part of systems greater about CWD manufacturing aerospace and increasing information available to turn WD starts to likely rely on it. Aerospace to turn WD turns by punch effective, but it's there. Incredible deterrence is denial, also difficult deterrence, not preventing an adversary to cheat. Being motivated aerospace makes it denial for denying an adversary to trade the use of force and focus on civil space services, trades offers warfighting plans called aerospace, McKinley to get a economy speaks to air and space fight. First, the primary organization for aerospace over the air force transformation to an aerospace force to occur to integrating aerospace force to the air force operation. Operates aerospace space services today. Operations will not create aerospace, but to keep the company in aerospace are license space as a warfighting mission for the effort to achieve its vision will come in aerospace but the link is not warfighting, not responsibility for providing space services today space. The aerospace space budget and environment is not going to companies support the core competency demand. Delivery function of the air force and other point to deliver its
Clear.
First is space in the surveillance conference largest must be builds the air force must cover the space services and the plan rebalances air force priorities and solves McKinley 2K. Should space functions design separately across several departments know the proposal for the Air Force to become a fully capable aerospace force, the organizational structure for space services, the U.S. Space Guard, and space guard responsibility to conclude all space operations of the national space policies, missions there, is a space support force enhancement, space control, should work to space support, security, satellite design, debris minimization, assume fixing disabled, so as lights, resupplying stations, refueling stations, eliminating space and being astronauts, search and rescue, monitoring, changes and controlling space, and pursuing the above recommendation is also an organization dedicated to both space concerned world, bringing the Air Force to refocus its attention on the core war fighting responsibilities must lie everything lying outside the framework of global reach and global power fighting new hope. The Air Force must accept all the imperative fundamental defense of all space services by defending space. Services, the Air Force to be free to focus on the warfighting will be and cover the enormous financial responsibilities of administration, space services, and plan. The United States federal government should develop space-based, space guard, civil space situational awareness. Advantage 3 is smart power. The threat of cyber attack is real, causes extinction, has bigger 10 attacks, reduce the military's operational capabilities today, shows to shift to offensive Russian attack, have taken a more aggressive cyber warfare, punch attempts to develop protect that, using our relations or factors complicated of a competition, limited resources required, make the potential for a cyber attack like the Al-Qaeda has the ability to cause marks aggression, great confidence, and attack, good cause cascading effect that would jeopardize our entire grid, with increasing fear and unrest and attack to create report across water, agriculture, and energy sectors. The attack would onto the information tech like that, since it's an enemy could win an EVA or even nuclear. This would no matter turns to making a significant worse of a major war. And smart power builds norms to protect cyberspace. Barnet, that's a better example of everything for attack. We shift to smart power then cyberspace and development for central capabilities best. The first step towards its by cyber defense and smart power to counter them rule of law but control the fighting and deterring threats. Cyberspace remains unregulated legal regime. They involve international principles. U.S. Postal Service leadership, international efforts, and enhance legal regime to recognize to control terrorism. What country have implications for another? The real and indispensable art of imposing cyberspace concept perception legitimacy is key. Created is critical to smart power. 9 armitage 7 pounds. Do we become a smart power creator investments? It's soft power to probably have preeminence. It's possible that what we have is a power for an opinion matter goodwill and brings acceptance of popular ventures. Higher power does not always change the day. It's also due to these central to soft power today. Should believe that objectives be legitimate. We are more likely to persuade them smart power means wrong on both hard and soft power to underscore strong motive. But also invest in a partnership and establish legitimacy of American action. Military SSA seen as a monopoly perception is key to smart power. Where it's 5 GB GPS can be used in SSA policy for an entity to so that they proceed as a monopoly perception compatible with their perception of control. They do not like to most control GPS, nor the fact that the US can deny service to control what the perceived US monopoly generating competition not bad. The reviews thinks it is fully sharing its capabilities. It only matters if the rest of the world perceives and that hurts legitimacy and Air Force effectiveness in space ground. 9 nations later this season monopoly space both object to this for US diplomacy. Let's see on the issue could do to increase geopolitical backlash and explain the US soft power tech. Restrain the overall power dispensing against the hard power decree. Since that pledge increase the global influence competitive ramifications have included multiple in the way. In US power when the US becomes a unit of public policy lose legitimacy using leverage the international community of suspicion because that the US may have its part. Being difficult for the Air Force to offer such protection and legitimacy solves all scenarios for escalation, 996 voted dissection between borders and peoples have been from collection conflict results from horizontal escalation, propaganda rates, the risk of border escalation, leadership of the U.S. is a key factor during limiting conflicts both hard and soft, not by acting alone, rather by shifting coalition of countries concerns with international organizations, state departments were in diplomatic nations, but fails because it's controlled by the DoD, Rose 11, 17, Clinton, 7, nations must work to get them a first to behave in the U.S. lead in and leadership of the State Department, diplomacy, and citizens vote for the bring international problems necessary to ensure that we have robust awareness and necessary directions to provide sustained close collaboration with the DoD engaged in exchanges.
Okay,
Got it.
First, let's talk about the first advantage. What's the impact to the agriculture industry?
Sure, our Lugar evidence outlines several impacts. First, he says that U.S. food diplomacy and our ability to maintain strong food production with U.S. that we then share with the globe is critical to maintaining global peace, relations with other countries, and
Right,
global
so
stability.
what is
Second,
the terminal impact
is
like peace, for example? Like
people not
how does
dying
that
because
really-
there is no conflict. It says we'll resolve
Like,
conflicts,
what-
provide the
yeah,
avenue
my
for
question-
resolving them. Second
right,
is
I
the
understand
resource
that's a
scarcity.
hyperbolic statement. My question is, what conflict does it
It's
solve? Does it
Global
does the
stability. It
evidence-
says that in instances of
does
instability,
it
which we
outline
will
a
argue will
specific
arrive.
conflict?
He does not say this country. He says it will provide stability in
The
all
only-
cases of
can you point to
instability.
me
He says
an
it will cause
impact
global
in this piece
peace.
of evidence besides terrorism.
Yes, he says that
Where?
food is talking about scarcity,
Destruction.
environmental destruction. There's a
Where
list.
does it make a claim about
Sure,
terrorism?
let me find it for you.
Also, there's human survival.
Okay, I understand that it says things
No, let
like
me find it. There's a
human
list.
survival, but my question is, what leads to its
Terrorism, turmoil in the Middle East, burgeoning nuclear threats, and other crises.
Okay,
and
so
then at the
where-
bottom,
where's-
there's another list.
Where's turmoil?
Saving
in
the
Middle
and
East?
saving the environment. States may go to war for
Wait,
resources.
the part of the card that you
Terrorism.
don't read.
Demand for.
You're right. The
What?
piece-
No, these I'm just reading off the
Okay,
list of impacts that he
Show
gives.
me where in the highlighting it says.
You're right, we have this part just as terrorism and global instability and nuclear threats, but right between those, he's specifying exactly which ones he's talking about.
No, he just says terrorism and instability in the Middle East. At best,
Turmoil
you
in the
have
Middle East, that's a
conflict.
specific
fine.
scenario for instability.
Let's talk about.
You
how
want
does
more?
the-
Because there's
no,
another list.
I mean, the judges can look at it after the round and see that you're wrong, but that's fine. Let's
Probably
talk
won't
about
have
the
to do
aerospace.
that. But anyways, what?
Let's talk about the aerospace advantage. How does the affirmative solve that?
Sure, there's a couple internal links. Right now, the Air Force is overburdened by having to do civil space services, which prevents them from focusing on warfighting, which is, the plan would divest those services from the aerospace sector.
Why is the Air Force currently overburdened? It seems like how does space policy affect?
It's not so much like Air Force overstretch. That's where you're confusing this old advantage with aerospace. Aerospace is fundamentally different than the Air Force. Aerospace is a mesh of agencies, including the Air Force, STRATCOM, and overall cohesion of our ability to operate both between the plane of the air and space. Hence the name.
Okay, so that still doesn't explain how does the affirmative then solve this?
Divest those civil space services.
Yes.
Their argument is that the vital internal link into aerospace overstretch and ineffectiveness in the status quo is them having to focus on civil space services, which do not contribute to their warfighting ability, which prevents them from focusing on warfighting and often contradicts their goals that they have in
So
warfighting.
how is that
Divesting those
intrinsic?
services.
How is that intrinsic to the plan? It seems
The
like
Space
you
Guard
shift
would
its
result in a
priorities.
shift away of civil space services
Okay,
from the
so
military.
Why wouldn't a counterplan to like create a new agency that doesn't go to space solve that entire advantage, for instance?
Well, you have to, the way in which a Space Guard solves isn't just that it's a new agency, but that we do what the Air Force is doing in the status quo so that they no longer have to do it. We provide another avenue
so in
for
that-
civil SSA to
In that-
take place.
In that explanation, can you explain like where was the I guess the part about space?
Sure, that's our McKinley evidence. Doing civil SSA in space means the Air Force no longer has to, because it is being done and the data is being given
Right,
to
so
the
why
Air
can't
Force.
the counterplan that says?
Because it wouldn't do civil SSA in space.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, you need that?
I didn't even use close it. Got it.
Okay, stop track.
Scratches, maybe throw it on the grass.
It's
Have you jumped it?
What?
Have you put it on the jump drive?
No.
Prep doesn't stop till you have the jump drive ready to give to them.
Okay. Speech 1 and C.
Yeah.
Nice job on goals.
No, we're green science too.
Right.
Calm you out. Can I get the jump drive from you?
You guys got it? 5 off. Aerospace advantage, smart power advantage, space weather.
1, 2, 1.
What, I'm sorry, what's the case order again?
Aerospace, smart power, space weather.
Alright. And when you are.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm sorry, will you repeat it one more time?
Oh, sorry. 5 off.
Yeah,
Aerospace, smart power, space weather.
thank you.
Okay.
First off is topicality. Interpretation. English requires making an already existing thing greater than Buckley at all 6 because English speaks made something greater than members necessarily been existing. Term English speakers should apply of already existing policy violation. They create a new agency. This voting issue first is predictable limits creating a new space agency and program is infinite. This is uniquely harmful in the topic where incentives like to fix meaning can be anything limiting the topic to expanding current programs vitally giving negative chance be supported predictable ground interpretation creates stable literature base where you can have predictable kind of this is based off existing federal programs. Next off is spec violation. The plan doesn't specify what SSA system to develop failure specifies voting issue first diagram we can't generate spending or lots of like second class and education literature on SSA is incredibly specific ranges of essential questions about funding and tech feasibility. Third is a lot of non-topical class we can never decide if you have a topic without mechanism meaning making thousands of questions about it. Fourth is presumption the plan would never pass Congress even if there be no implementation measures means they don't solve anything. Next off critique. The affirmative represents peace and absence for endorsing a war via the managed jabberers violence fast point. The fast point but simply creates a negative peace perpetuates business cycles of violence and militarism that has been endemic for the last century. Positive peace break that the development of military but create the possibility of structural change. That's humanity 7 beats the notion that more conditioning of this may be committed to non-violence, local peace, inherent relation committed to non-violence, positive peace, and peace merely accidental for places. Negative peace, positive peace is incompatible argument. Negative peace not only incompatible actually stimulates armament and by continuing to think of war as an isolated event we blind ourselves to the fact that war and militarism is an ongoing process woven into the fabric of our lives, organizing ourselves in opposition to the last points of conflict reproduces militarism perpetuates structural violence. That's Como 96. We're best seen on the demand, but the principle military practice constructed during national identity justify the destruction of national identity during communities during peacetime. Ethical principles do not attend in the way in which over woven in the fabric of life leads to Christ-based politics and distract analysis and distract attention to the need to sustain resistance to the domination of oppressed and neglecting the evidence of military loss for the false belief that the absence of declared armed conflict is peace and the representation of the 1AC inoculated norm of negative peace versus work to foster a more pacific discourse that promotes positive peace and social justice. It's not what they do, it's what they justify what negative trajectory. The affirmative description of peace is the absence of war. That's K98. The first step in linguistic balance is to refrain from using linguistic discourse, not necessarily present form or present language behavior. Builds up pressure thinking urban subsequent efforts of linguistic and physical violence efforts to establish the practice of linguistic violence. Now that's the positive peace part of a larger struggle culture reduce violence. We need to recognize that often silence is violence. Let's break the silence being opposed to the violence of the situation. Next off, counterpoint. The National Research Council should include the development of space-based spacecraft civilized space situational awareness as a priority one recommendation in the 2014 to 2023 decadal survey for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Counterpoint results of the fight most contested that space politics 323 and last year's national authorization acts provision calling for independent studies of document of space flight legislation calls for recommendation for the 2014 to 2023 such a study will make a difference in shaping long-term future of human spaceflight with what kind of document we can get in the long-term potential required to actually finish one of these programs and the net benefit is politics. That's Smith and 9. Representing the Democratic and Republican viewpoints, both advise the committee to focus on deliberations and top scientific priorities, not the ones of science compelling Congress could make additional funds available. Next off, politics. Payroll tax will be extended through 2012 Obama's capital scheme. He has enough on the issue that CBC News 1231. The payroll tax was extended until February. It's extended to the end of 2012. It's almost the right one. The president has strong on the payroll tax. It's going to be hard not to extend politically. Obama numbers of improved Republicans look disorganized. The petty and capital is key. Obama needs to keep the division line and hold the GOP. That's page 233. Enormous will prevent from the Roman common goals for a full year extension of formality politically. It's not so he pushed Congress to work. We're going to go back to fight once again in a month. Obama's willingness to stand firm, get up, regardless of what Democrats who complain the president often seem too willing to give in too much. It was critical. The president not giving any more ground in the plan. Trades political capital has been in 11 creating space code for most potential change in the structure and organization of the U.S. government changing this magnitude requires expenditure of political capital because the Air Force, NASA, and pensions could be expected to resist ceding funds for functions and personnel to new organization and failure to extend would devastate growth key to maintaining momentum. That's the whole 2028 U.S. economy is accelerating the extension of the payroll tax. It is important to maintain the momentum of consumer mood, but I think support the tax and the consequences of not extending the measures through the remainder of 2012 would be dramatic. Consumers would experience new political confidence. The principal reason economists are concerned about the taxes expanding the slow growth of wages this year. The comeback could have significant and immediate impact on consumer spending and economic cause. War studies prove that Royal intending economic climate collective external conflict rhythms and the global economy
economy are associated with politics and the aggressive culture and miscalculation even regardless of certain redistribution power can lead to a conflict between countries forced to gain access to resources. Economic culture possibly correlates decline with conflict in the payroll tax that allows Obama to control the 2012 message ensures a victory that's worded to 2025 by candidate for consider and do nothing but circumstances will not let him do much. Republicans and Mayor Grant Senate bill to Obama's bill, including payroll tax and the outlook for legislative achievements dim for the rest of Obama's term for Obama may be chosen by a GOP majority. One of the strategies I do think voters will say you're at least trying here and GOP win causes us to strike Iran and still look down 20 Republican candidates favor war with Iran. If you want the Republican president in the 2012 election more, then likely we will be at war with Iran. Republicans will present the narrative diplomacy trying to fail sanctions or competence defense of the only remaining options is military action. Iran unites all the GOP candidates in. In fact, this global nuclear war and extinction that Shadowski insists. If area bombardment would be lost against Iran, they would trigger ground and escalation of the conflict bombs on release. Chernobyl type nightmare, the conflict releases from the Middle East to the Caspian Sea. Military action against Iran would directly involve Israel, which triggers broader war throughout the Middle East and attack. Directed against Iran would integrate the war theaters to the bottom Middle East situation and integrate the wars of the war against Iran, eventually leading to the destabilizing conquest of the Russian Federation. Aerospace. Aerospace industry's resilient job growth. That's Lancaster News 26. Obama could have been speaking about Ohio's aerospace industry, but he said in the State of the Union, the nation is facing a Sputnik bomb. It is incredibly important. We don't take our aerospace industry for granted. It's like calling the president of Montel, textile industry consulting center. Every other country in the world wants what we have, so the all keep surprised at the breadth of the capabilities we have in Ohio. A lot of other states do a better job of coordinating the aerospace industry. Obama's call for Sputnik bomb and Obama's nation dedicated technology and investment for the future could also accelerate the research development. Ohio industry leaders have said, mark that as said, and all cost shortage of talented workers. That's Business Wire 621. The research figures point to the finance industry says the escalating time management problem. According to the research, a high percentage of skilled workers are rapidly approaching the retirement age. 51% of respondents indicate the potential for decreased business performance due to changing workforce demographics, delivering critical and distant. 67% of these respondents lack confidence in the company's ability to execute programs and develop future leaders. 62% lack confidence in the company's ability to deal with human capital challenges and plan isn't enough to save the industry. Leadership and decision-making are also necessary. This Business Wire 621 new kinds of leadership behaviors are equally important as the culture to encourage evidence and cross-function team. The new kind of organization structure is also critical now with decision-making further on our company incorporates structure to collaboration and no disease can cause human extinction. They'll kill their hosts too quickly. 9 length lots possible. 5 the fact that Homo sapiens and managed to survive evidence disease and 200,000 years of source of comfort none is gone close to destroying the entire human race. There's no biological reason. Natural selection favors germs with limited lethality. They are filtered because the genes are willing to spread of germs do not kill their hosts. Typically, like an natural pandemic causing extinction is less today in the past and the reason in medical science and the deployment of bioweapons dramatically reduces their depth toll its real intent. Rapidly developed capabilities like 200,000 remains theoretical biological weapons skills being used for the most distinctive things. First in the world, aerosol clouds and aerosols do not settle pathogens that have been sprayed near there's level 90% of the microorganisms are likely to die during the aerosolization, mark it that word. And get a smart power. Afghan self-cyber attacks 20% get in no matter what. That's Corbyn and 9 agencies are doing more to coordinate their far-ranging efforts. Even in the best case scenario, the hackers are often more than one step ahead of wanting to do best practices model to be able to withstand about 80% of the commonly known attacks. There's not a silver bullet here in cyber terror. As minimal impact, similar attacks occur all the time. This freedom and cyber attacks are costly and annoying, but they're not a threat to U.S. national security. Even during World War II, the Alabama campaign failed to harden industrial products. Modern economy is much more resilient. The first never caused the black virus denial of service attacks everyday occurrences, but they're not deadly because terrorists aim to kill and they are unlikely to find these sorts of attacks appealing even to the male gender crowd of teenagers and malcontents. Additionally, air gapping, we don't have our weapons hooked up to the internet means they can't also cause nuclear war. Now, multipolarity causes great power war kills. Cooperation on every important issue that's patching containment of nuclear border leads to an era of multipolarity without multilateral diffusion of power is likely to exacerbate the strategic rivalry between the established emerging powers. Among the emerging powers themselves compete vigorously for markets, strategic research, political influence, and military advantage. Rivalry among the emerging powers are also complicated multilateral cooperation. The most obvious between China and India, which share disputed border conflict for regional influence. Natural resources remain sensitive to changes in the relative military capabilities. China's cultivation of India's neighbors making the afraid of strategic encirclement and market cooperation between two rivals increasing on the Indian Ocean. Go to space weather. Terrorism is not the next thing that's paying attention, although another terrorist attack on the scale of 9/11 would be a great tragedy of not being into the world of when we survived 9/11 would survive if there's another 9/11. It's important to understand the terrorism is not the next threat from 1970 to 2007. Terrorism resulted in 3,340 fatalities, less than 100 fatalities per year, more like 10 if you exclude 9/11 is an extraordinary event. There's also too many barriers to terrorism, makes the risk very, very low. There's not going to be nuclear terrorism. Additionally, Middle East war won't escalate. That's shot within 2. Israel doesn't want a nuke Iraq. There's been the best kept in the model Sharon. Is no doctor saying live on Israel suffer huge casualties with nuclear response. Be likely Israel military condition confident it won't be necessary. The first ready to shoot down Iraqi plane sound devils, spend the warnings of pessimists to response to destabilize the Arab world, mark that an Arab world, and it won't escalate. That Schirmer 07 Israel fought war after with the Middle East result, no regional confrontations in Iraq fought one of the bloodiest wars, and no regional conflagration. The Soviets fought in Afghanistan, and withdrew no regional conflagration. The US fought the Gulf War, and then left no regional conflagration. Algeria fought an internal civil war for a decade, no regional conflagration.
Did you actually mark those cards or just tell us to mark them?
Yeah, I marked them.
Okay, cool. Thank
Do
you.
you guys want to jump?
Yeah, but you can do that after process.
Okay.
We're just gonna have it. Okay, why doesn't Middle East war escalate?
It cites empirical examples of when there have been conflicts in the Middle East. They haven't escalated because no one wants.
No one in the Middle East wants to get involved and great powers don't get involved?
It's just no one in the Middle East wants to have the war escalate. That's the point.
Okay, cool. Okay, that makes sense. So let's talk about the counterplan. Under what scenario would the counterplan not result in deployment of SSA?
If it's not accepted.
Who decides whether it's accepted?
The National Research Council.
The National Research Council just decides if we want to do this, we will, and then you have them implement SSA?
No, the federal government does it. They
Okay, so who gets to say no or say yes to the counter
National
plan?
Research Council.
Are you sure about that? Because it seems like it says the National Research Council would recommend it to a broader USFG entity like Congress, who would then decide over it.
The clerk of the counter plan. Who says yes or no?
This is a recommendation counter plan that competes off certainty.
Who says yes
Who
or no?
determines certainty? Because the National Research Council definitely can't determine funding or whether or not we deploy
Yes,
SSA.
they can. That's what the space politics is.
Okay, have you taken AP Gov yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, let's talk about Government 101. Congress controls the power of the purse. When there is an appropriation for new funding, like new SSA, i.e. the plan, they determine whether there's going to be an appropriation.
Right, so when Congress gives money to the National Research Council, they then reallocate their own budget.
So wait, the National Research Council controls whether or not Congress gives them money?
No, obviously the National Research Council gets money from Congress, pretty logical, then they use that money in
Sure, they're
different
getting money,
places
but
to
here's the way
do
budget
things.
allocations work. They say you have this much money to spend on this, okay? There is no budget allocation for the National Research Council right now
No,
for civil
they say,
SSA.
here's a sum of money that you can use for your particular agency. The counter plan then has that agency use that particular amount of money to do
Okay,
the
so if
plan.
the National Research Council does this, which is what you include the counter plan in, you include it in the National Research Council's policy, how will there be a say no if you fiat the National Research Council advocate this?
What- I-
You fiat the National Research Council
Yes.
incorporate the plan into their policy and agency. How could there ever be a fiat they like the plan?
I don't understand the relevance.
You fiated they say yes on your consult counter plan. You fiat. How do you think this
I
counter
don't
plan
understand
competes?
that. I mean, it competes based on the fact, based on certainty, I don't.
Okay, but then you fiat that the plan is certain because you have the National Research Council, who is the only person who can determine it, choose that. But let's talk status of the counter plan, by the way.
Conditional.
And does the alt to the K put SSA in space?
It's not a funding pick.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about this net benefit to politics. This said Republicans and the Democrats would like it on your Shields link. And then your link to politics says that it would drain political capital because the Air Force and NASA would backlash. It seems like a bit of a disconnect.
No, it's
Explain
not.
yourself.
The warrants in the card are specific to if there's a scientific.
Talking about
reason.
congressmen, your other card is talking about the head of the Air Force and the
Right,
head
but
of
obviously
NASA
NASA
going to
doesn't
the
have,
White House.
Obviously NASA like doesn't have the vote on the count.
No, but let's read this line while Azar's taking prep.
Okay, whatever.
Just reading this. They said National Research Council determines whether or not it happens, and they have the National Research Council advocate the plan. There is no issue of certainty because there's no scenario where they say no. They should have said Congress decides it, but for whatever reason they decided not to. Alright, I got 722.
It's called space choice.
Let's go, you can have your own stuff, man. That's really good.
It's 8. Sorry, you all must have missed the conversation. You get 8 minutes of prep, but your prep doesn't stop until you have a jump drive in your hand to give to the other team.
This is the Mahoney class.
Yeah, is this like a Texas thing or a Mahoney thing?
It's a
It's a
Mahoney
Mahoney
thing,
thing.
but they let me control the timer, so.
He
You're stuck
volunteered
with-
to control the
you're stuck
timer
with
and
it.
it seemed worth it.
How many guys pull out that pull out? Why is it?
You got it. Okay. The order's gonna be aerospace power, smart power, weather, T, SSA spec, counter plan, K, politics. Sounds good.
Counter plan, sorry, you're gonna have to give the office order.
Okay, T, SSA spec, the counter plan, the K, politics. Everyone good? Group the aerospace industry defense about the industry, not about aerospace power will concede itself. Public takes out. It's not about the airplanes or Stricom public. Where there's no defense to the impact of all other defense. Public takes out the economy impact because industry is really the industrial base. Public takes out the impact of the deciding when a bomb was occurred in 2015. Other evidence assume Eugene military manipulation technologies and scientists are given technology evidence from place from 1 month ago. There was from 2009. For recency, recency, the scientific climate because compliance only occurs through aerospace power that is conceded. Impact causes 2015. Probably boosts the count when it's not solved now. The smart power advantage transparency is cruel and international legitimacy of law and law cyber regimes. All there is about the U.S. defense system, the Arab China, Russia, and counter attacks and South Korea defenses are extremely weak. Smart power smart power solves multipolarity. We'll concede that argument exists an add-on for evidence that says multipolarity and the brown evidence that we saw that we'll concede that as conceded extinction. There's also conceded legitimacy of also forms of it solves all forms of escalation where probably solves any impact to the politics and whether advantage. It's not about food. It's not about food, but infrastructure. Terrorism is only inevitable unless there's no food, etc. There's no terrorism impact. We mean that it doesn't apply. Well, consider this Middle East war doesn't escape. Probably takes out the impact of Iran strike is there. Iran strikes the impact of broader Middle East war on them. Now, top economy mean SA exists. Now the plan only increases it. As twice instead of the U.S. top capabilities must increase. It's SA to be really abundant and kind of radar and telescopes are all this small object technology comes table intelligence and U.S. government classifies SA space control development includes the planets and increased Jakku and all and usually development SA capabilities explicitly claims the surveillance and space control doctrine achieved SSA. Improves space surveillance. No one space surveillance and capabilities and technical elements that exist. The political will is just needed. SLBF 9. The civil SSA there is not dream technical elements exist and there is no lacking political will. Increased nothing pertinent inquire pre-existing Reinhardt and have increased to make something greater. Nothing definition to believe in a case of company rights to state and the development privilege in charge and that can occur through new agencies. Hucox 9. The space performance principle or managing space for and different principles for managed space development new entity. Encourage partnerships to increase the development. Managed space development has good 8 points precision sets contention PhD in space entry and has attended in a fine space policy interpretation oral limits and inherency is all ultimately cut from the budget. Anyways, there's no app under the interpretation and quality decision skills and no impact dictated functional limits check and they get counter plan this is counter K ground and where we solve their impact competing tertiary got race to the bottom was a quarter from justify counter intervention only case of another SSA spec we increase we specify space our civil SSA that is the most specific from SSA public solves all their objects are worse with theoretical relevant decision making filters to specify on specification only means that a number of pick ground which probably moves the entire want to see what's the probably a reason why the counter plan is especially bad anyway now counter plan. Permutation development, permutation to counterplan development to process Johnson and how development process defining limitation and converting that into programs resolved as an allot the action to certainty Ryan Webster and resolves all consult and deliver also the counterplan initiates of the plan in 2014 are bilateral attacks in 2013 which means that is an extension does a commission welfare mayor seven Congress and the president now when the solve problem commission will work commission cannot solve the leadership others black commission will play the side course final agreements in Congress make it a back of the commission social security balance the budget it is impossible to achieve base closure commission with all the agreements are creating consensus also links to politics because still does the entire plan also conditions of voting issues screws through the statute makes negative on tactics which hurts argument development advocacy skills one condition advocacy solves all their opposite was also
links to politics.
Also, scratch the links to politics. Congress cannot create the executive agency in a way that is AP give one when only the plan creates the executive agency process comes to our voting issue because the most entire one is you can stable debt offense and HBC the Center for Education anyway. And commissions will fill issues legislators' minds. Mayor said, allowing in my timer. Sorry. Independent commission for record have been
438.
Resolved the legislative been passed with the legislature and currently delegates policy authority without ongoing market the conditions like a Iraq successful work agreement of price supply steps not apply. You have further in his controversy now. Go to peace. The app is necessary for human security. It solves the K. Williamson. And human security is a concept of as much major politics as they need individuals to understand human existence, economic, food, health, environmental, community, personal, and politically operating system and chief use of relevant human security. It makes it possible to assess environmental conditions where development benefit systems will have to deal to turn data information. They'll have to collaborate more. The GMS more will stop creating the local data observation more apparent more greater investment and productive multiple rewards and proactive positive peace folk and 70 promotes positive peace approach. You get up a hand work to forget the nuclear competition global dimension purpose that all the peace research and competition can be avoided. There is a role of positive peace. Condemnation on negative peace of the doctrine here. I stopped at doctrine. The alternative is vague, which is voting issue against stable dissents against alternative permutation to the plan and not going to put a alternative that solves all their options ontology and epistemology on prior issues crashable and 7 private simple and promise. You begin with acting the right writing false starts. The most have begin without privilege or basing a decision of knowledge. The running for anxiety on productive initial use most landing out to traditional projects valuable as a primary starting point takes a scientific knowledge seriously, but accounts for familiar knowledge, true facts leading closer to the truth. Projects that consists of morally new questions regarding that process of non-production able to rely on logical body, Semifinals, one state to defend South Korea competitive advocacy based on plan action, cater fairness, and good advocacy skills. Deterrence reps are good, as Luke BGA deterrence was active identity developed, and the accessibility to online security, and therefore continuous balance and moral violence and more achieved. Deterrence create more practice, lead break versus violence, hostility, mutual perception of the other, as an aggressive system of violence, but ironically, other non-figure cloud of identity, deterrence of another long-term influence, well, avoidance of violence, and not terrence, providing both online security, disrefuting attention, to be the next phase of voting issues, should direct the resolution, didn't have a resolution, which probably means it's just a discussion away from plan action, was her to advocacy skills, sorry. Sarah also says scenario evaluations are critical for ethically responsible politics. Williams, and how we can characterize the special responsibility for others who question responsibility, representation, not lacking contingency, for negative responsibility, otherness, the construction and consequences needed acting for responsibility against self the other, mutual calculation, insanity, identities, or inescapable conditions provide a foundation, or practice I stopped to practice also go to payroll. Taxes on solve the economy payroll and constants the impact of notice to the holiday would defund Democrats want a tax holiday, raising tax on the rich 20% of the public tax rate, or the federal independent income tax rate rates to rise, the imposing higher tax rate on the one is not recipe for long-term growth. And Obama will have many battles, Washington Post, and one on Obama's and disengage their slow potential landmines building is playing field potential a keystone, and the court was settled a version of his healthcare passage, and it's not top of the agenda. Unemployment is first held 1/4. The committee came in hand to ground the long extension pillow tax rate coming for another 10 days. People look for federal benefits of Medicare. Also, they're internally the cabin trade is about a global emission cut. That's the cabin trade is not solved. That Vader will prevent it from passing laws to be paid. And 1-2. No matter how the polls say about congressional Republicans are perceived Vader will mean sounds within trade for demands on the White House. Make the not a cut deal for 28th relates with Congressional Democrats administration. Give him anything he wants to keep away Vader, but include us in the budget-related fights. Will take another extension by not offsetting cuts, but Congress lost the White House. And not
wait, go back to the case and answer head. We didn't read a unipolarity or.
On the case, answering head, we don't read a unipolarity. We say we make unipolarity anything better by combining soft power. Back to politics.
Yeah, okay.
Airspace solves Iranian nuclearization hegemony. Hana, and the most credible realistic country nuclearize Iran would be the Middle East. America will improve the strategic defense by using aircraft power of the Kabul. What is very possible incoming nuclear missile and cabin trade costs carbon tariff causing WTO free trade. The economy still industry cars of trade war period funded and 230 new carbon tariff and imports from new weapon as for countries like China, India, pushing countries CO2 emissions of a disaster and excuse impose trade restriction, investment in jobs and nation have a loser chill money chemicals are considered a trade where business one less based on pennies per pound on the part of WTO's obligation to the WTO. That caused a war trade war with China's cultural relations and caused an Asian arms race in WTO and free trade garden and United States are great challenges surrounding the U.S. China trade decided posted to this escalation of hence the risk of the downward spiral of Mexico threats and China attempt to retaliate new Cold War with emerging in Asia, the Middle Asian nations have advanced taking sides and one of their arms pulled North 12 international relation trading system with a great risk. The marks localized manufacturing costs with relative hydrogenization and the WTO the impacts of nuclear war Johnson and one doesn't fair the Pentagon wants war with China said war with the U.S. and China and China's victory would escalate nuclear war that crushes the steel industry, metal books and 9 cabin trade with damage to industry struggling in the way to economy. The government's policy to hurt the industry international competitiveness globally on anti-12 portfolio CO2 emissions etc. with the worsening economy that causes extinction buyer and some rebels that the industry from homeland security and economic vitality of the nation when the economy plays an global war terror Canadian immerse the cruises Humvees are is still promotion production on the globe the people who come to public industry to hold the ability to run competitive national security present economic integrity domestic steel industry and its fundamental ability to play various existence as answer that question the fertilizer and
they don't have a that says CO2 is due to solve warming.
Do you have any evidence that says CO2 is due to solve warming? Crush the fertilizer industry, Louisy, and three natural gas primary livestock production of natural fertilizers and natural fertilizers made natural gas prices have a devastating impact on natural fertilizer industry. Natural high prices will lead to high chloride CO2 will move to natural gas.
We'll take some prep. How much time do we have?
I'm gonna mark all the cards and
6:50.
jump that to you. Do you want the marked cards jump to you? Yes.
Okay. Stop prep for 6:31.
Okay, can we get the smart power flow, like, I guess, fleshed out? What, you made an argument that or the plan solves multipolarity?
No, we don't make an argument about multipolarity being
But,
good. We say
the approach says
unipolarity
you
is
need to
good.
increase legitimacy. Now is talking about, like,
Sure,
coalition.
the evidence about
Smart
multipolarity is talking about a world where the U.S. declines and all other powers rise up. Our NIA evidence says that U.S. hard power would increase under smart power, and we become a more effective military hegemon.
Okay.
This is true.
Okay, let's go. Okay, what impacts are you going for to become space weather advantage?
When impacts are ag.
What?
Food scarcity causes war.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what
food
you're
diplomacy.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, reasons to reject the team.
Condo, Nick, Fiat, Altvague, is there anything else? Process channel plans are about issue.
Okay. Alright,
I'm sorry.
that's fine. Politics for a second. Not top of the agenda, unemployment first. This card says that there's going to be an unemployment vote eventually, whereas it says it's going to be put forward the payroll.
Hammered a long extension of payroll tax credit will not convene for another 10 days. The panel will look at unemployment benefits in that time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's not an answer.
Right, it's not gonna convene for 10 days and the panel will look for their unemployment benefits in the meantime.
Where does that say it is first?
It doesn't.
Where does it say in the meantime? What? You can't add that sentence.
That's what the context of the card says.
What?
Just
Well,
have Congress saying that
Congress
certain
is
things are
card.
happening now, not 10 days from now.
Wait, Congress isn't in session now. How are they debating it?
It is an issue draining capital, it's perceived
How?
that way.
Where does it say it's training capital?
It's
We
just
can move on to that.
It said that
It's just
Obama
a reason why
is
something
now.
else is on top of the agenda.
Okay, well,
Or
where
be
does it
fair,
say it's putting
Carol.
capital into it?
You're probably right, it doesn't. We can read a card and then
Do we have to answer it?
Yeah, you probably have to answer it.
It's also about controversy, which is what your link says.
Okay.
Probably
that's
triggers
fine.
line.
Okay, Boehner been passed to keep his job. Where does it say Boehner has the ability to block it? You talk about how he has incentives to. Or does it say he can get everyone on board?
No, he can't prevent it. He will not cut a deal, even if congressional Democrats and the administration give him anything he wants. This would be completely in keeping how Boehner won kudos in the all budget-related fights. Oh, yeah, and it talks about Republicans perceiving it too.
It
Republicans-
talks about
the
Republicans
first line-
receiving it does not mean it's not going to
The first line talks about Republicans going around, or like coalitioning around Boehner.
The first line's not highlighted, so.
Well, the first line that was highlighted, I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Republicans perceive Boehner will have to make what sounds like outrageous demands for it. Okay.
Yes.
Politics theory.
No.
Okay. Taxes on the wealthy. How do they balance out tariff actually killing the economy?
Taxes on the wealthy?
Mm-hmm.
The argument is that when we have taxes on the wealthy, that means that the payroll tax cut takes as a tax cut on low-wage workers. The taxes on the wealthy will balance out, which means that
Yes,
the
how?
benefit. What?
How?
What do you mean how?
How does that balance out? I don't understand how it saves the economy.
It
generates
doesn't. It
additional
won't
revenue
tank
that
the
will be used
economy.
for stimulus.
It's not about saving the economy. It means that the impact from payroll will not happen, not that the taxes from taxing the rich will save the economy.
629.
That's one way to give you. Your timer's on this. Yeah. I got this switch.
Back a little early. Yeah. I think it's still good. They have this like CP that's like side. Oh, really?
Oh, okay, well, that's.
Warrant number 2. Or it's the large fries today. No, you like reverse. It's 2 large fries. Right. Yeah, and he was I asked him because he was. I think he'd be happier if he wasn't vegetarian. Oh, I saw it. Vampires, yeah. I saw your
Sorry, for politics theory, did you say just transhumanism?
None.
Politics theory?
None.
None.
We could be your leadership.
Stop right.
No, hold on. Okay, stop round.
They stop right, by the way.
I got it, thank you.
That's what an associate benefit said.
Where did they at?
158.
According to their base.
Okay, the order's gonna be the counter plan. Where did you have condo flood?
On the counter.
Somewhere in there.
Counter plan, and then T, then the aerospace advantage, then the smart power advantage, and then the weather advantage. Space weather advantage.
So, case order is airspace, smart power, and weather.
Yes.
And you start with the
And
counter.
T is just the T increase argument?
It's a counter plan that T.
Yep.
Let me open it up a second.
Is everyone ready?
This is like, okay, I guess you just have 10 headers, okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of letters.
I thought this was like gonna be pages. Anyways.
Okay,
Go for it.
everyone good? Awesome.
First on conditionality, first draw offense, one negative flexibility, test plan more ways about the education, new plan focus, good creates more safe debate, increase education by forcing the avenue, defend the plan, different circumstances, 3 more will work, deep discounted, depth, similar to counter proves will be withdrawn all the time, and 4 decreases strategic, the applicant just focus debate on one issue, you have to be able to control all and sour defense, once used inevitable ability, speed, research, 2, the 2 hour checks will focus the debate down by then, 3 outside by justify, they win more, speak first and last, and 4 engagement theory means we don't need to disable the advocacy, all we have to do is prove that the plan is a bad idea, and 5, there's no reason to use name and even, and I successfully referring back to it, but the negative disadvantage counter-interpretation, we can have 2 conditional option project argument on the team and go to the process counter plan theory. First of all, every counter plan is a function of the process counter plan. That's how they are competitive. Process counter plans are key to determine the validity of the resolution defend. You have to defend your plan, and they've had plenty of time to craft their plan text. Defending that is key to educational accuracy, negative ground, and net benefit check these. They can return the net benefit key to moral accuracy without process counter plans force to defend arguments like racism, good side bias, and literature check abuse. They've got in from first last speech plus or plenty of literature on the recommendation counter plan. It was put out in Michigan. 7 degrees of depth of education process counter plans focused on debate on specific issues. 8 is best policy option, make modifications to allows us to find best policy. There's and 9 there's no ground policy counter. The counter plan is still different for the plan now. We'll concede the permutation. We're not going for the counter plan. Means you shouldn't have to vote on theory anyway. Now go to the top cal. Something has to exist in order to be increased at the Buckley at all 06 definition 1 CR evidence is better for the purpose of debate. 7.8 it is from an attorney and legal definition should directly the way that we look at law, their writing be precise. 7.B is it does the intent to find showing how we would decide if something could be changed or not. E to pre-round preparation predictability. 7.C in cites legal page draws conclusions Claudia versus Franklin his verse when here's where evidence increases or increase requires pre-existing that's Brown and ensure economic creation something that did not exist definition clearly anticipates an initial next predictable limits are there literally thousands of plans that the affirmative to create the space guards is one example. Among creating new satellites, new jobs, and that's new work on the ISS, new technology, or overall new missions in space. There are also say the United States federal government should test sexual activity in space in 2000 of scientific tests in space to go to new galaxy travel paths, built way to things with the sun, interactive new species of aliens or both moon to stop the werewolf attack. And this is just the first page of my Google search. There's no way we can predict all the possible new firms. This is the key. Eliminate word other words. Make sure that the firm may be big out, maybe big, but not that it is in the core of literature in places that we would look only limiting to pre-existing solves. And there's no negative to a small topic, only to a bigger topic. Subpoint A is in-depth research. Better we can study one object area. Find a lot of best work. This is key. Discovering the best firms, knowing the best. And subpoint B is air negative on theory. Yak is the first and last speech in correct the most. Air negative on theory. Yak is the first and last speech in correct the most teams. Flip after the beginning of the theory. And also there are topical affirmatives. There are topical firms under interpretation. One's constellation affirmatives. Who is some small satellite firms. 3 is asteroid tracking. 4 is moon programs, including landing, mining programs, NASA telescopes, observational programs. I'm pretty sure they're the only ones who read this type of firm on topics. So it means they just have to change their firm. That's not that bad. Now predictive the ground aren't predicted to create stable literature base. They've literally been given free articles written on the space far. There are no articles on this type of arguments. Topic could subset into millions of things. So a stable base is key. And go to the standard to be better for real world information. Talking about programs that exist, it's a better idea of how the status quo works and how life functions outside of this debate round. Also, it leads to better research. We still get better commentary about programs that exist in status quo and how they do or don't work. This is a life skill of learning about the government and how it functions and how it functions. Also, we internal and turn any theory they have on any flow. The only reason we had to read theoretical abuse of strategies that is the untopicality of the firm prevented us from reading a good strategy. It is a prerequisite to any abuse done by the negative. Now, UT and offensive defensive paradigm like the disadvantage for critical thinking, all terminal skills, results in 2006 with topicality voting, which can make debaters become less defensive secondary spewing, short more independent, do other critical analysis requires competitive incentives to develop such fluency, mark the evidence of fluency, and only our definition works within the context of the resolution extent. The counter interpretation I made above. Now they say we mean, however, doesn't the plan creates a new agency to spend 11. The USSG will be established by Congress and attacked on this civilian cabinet department. Now they say there's development now, however, plans for education even if we are developing space and status quo isn't a reason that we are developing the plan tags. It's not a reason that we're developing status quo. There supports a whole resolution from the defense that isn't defend the one see and doesn't resolve any of our often cross-apply from the review and development is the advancement of something that exists. It's Cambridge Dictionary 11 something change becomes more advanced development project only is to help now they say tech development now. However, first of all cross-apply plans specific education arguments I made above. Also, there's violation. This plan results in the research of non-existent technology and does not mandate the development of space. I've already explained above why this is completely unpredictable. Now go to their counter-interpretation. First of all, the Reinhardt 05 evidence, our definition is uniquely better than Reinhardt co-states, and assumes this argument our evidence cites a definition used by the Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit Court tells us that their interpretation is pre-existing, and 2 is that there's no use definition. He doesn't cite any legal sources that are conclusively or any real types of decisions. Now go to the word and phrase dictionary for legal definitions over dictionary definitions, which I've already explained above. There's why they're better than ground is not an equitable topic. Ground is best we need. Ground that we can predict and have good debates about. Also, to go to the core of the topic argument, we allow for other firms that are to core the topic. I've already explained that above. And lit is not to just because there's 3 cards on it does not mean that is predictable in any sense. Now he says over limiting, however, one predictable one is best controlling. They're often showing the affirmatives that didn't show up is what we need to get the best ground. We control the terminal impact. 2 is this is answering the overview, but I will bring 2 specifically good arguments down as subpoint A is extend the impactor and the topic is too big, and subpoint B is extend the case list I made above. Now he says reasonability, however, competing interpretation, the best way to value the debate reciprocity. You should vote on reasonable. No link from this that there is any risk that we are right. You should consider that that is a risk of an impact. And 2 is completely arbitrary. There's no right line. They can always claim reasonability. They can only prove that they're reasonably topical by answering or changes 3 is education. If reasonability becomes no risk option, team theory become obsolete, and debate would be too abusive. And 4 it's key to set a precedent for future debates. And 5 only our definition works within the context of the resolution. I've already read multiple definitions above. Now go to the airspace advantage. First of all, I don't understand why he tries to concede his defense. It's not in the context of the Air Force, rather it's in the context of the aerospace industry and how these industries cannot solve it best. If they try to go for some sort of distinction, this argument indicates that you cannot have this pushing infrastructure because these industries will not be able to cause a stronger Air Force industry or to actually do the affirmative. It's a reason they can't solve for the advantage. I don't understand how they get to the bioweapons arguments when they can see things like there's an all-cause to aerospace collapse and there's an all-cause to aerospace collapse or the aerospace is resilient argument. Probably reason that they don't get any of these arguments. Still extended bioweapons defense short reads coming out of the ones you hear from weapons that they don't lead to extinction. That's O'Neill. No, for example, a reputable professor of political science examined evidence relating to biological weapons, found such weapons got cause mass destruction. They tend to be far less destructive than conventional weapons. If we stop speculating, we find Schirmer this evidence suggests that we should call the weapons of minimum destruction market at minimum destruction. Also, he just has a blippy argument here. He only has a blippy argument here. They read one piece of evidence. The one is Jordan reads two pieces of evidence, and I've read a third piece of evidence to indicate it does not matter if you shift the scientific policy. They still do not lead to extinction because of things like intent. Probably a reason that they do not access any sort of terminal impact now. Go to the smart power advantage. First of all, big mistake. They say smart power solves multipolarity on the flow. We read a multipolarity bad evidence. They cannot just try to clarify this in process. The argument that they made on the flow is probably reason that they linked themselves to the multipolarity bad evidence, but they can't still say that we increase hegemony, and that does not link them to this argument because you can call for the legitimacy argument. 9 indicates that the affirmative leads to things like coalition building. The multipolarity bad evidence is talking about why things like coalition building and increasing international cooperation is going to be bad in the long term, but it doesn't matter because offensive realism is true, and that means that no nation is going to cooperate post-affirmative totalitarian in 99. The critiques of defensive realism assume states may pursue minimal security or survival. Defensive realists assume that the minimum states seek to perceive their territorial integrity and political autonomy. Mark, the evidence are not go to the space weather advantage. First of all, I don't understand why he's going for this impact. I asked him in cross-ex what the launch list evidence says. You can call for it after round. Literally, it just says this could lead to terrorism and it might lead to Middle East war. First of all, that's not an that does not make an escalation argument. Why that leads to extinction, which is probably the reason you default to our impact defense. Don't evaluate any of his 1AR analysis. It's probably going to sound really good, but we've read evidence indicating that terrorism is not an existential threat, and there's no spillover to Middle Eastern stability because at best it will be contained. Also, back to the terrorism stuff. Sorry, they do not have the political intent to do so. Also, it's empirically done. They've tried to attack before. It's in the Penna and Mueller evidence indicates that there's no risk of a terrorist attack. So, you say that AFs would, like, under your interpretation, it justifies AFs creating new jobs. What AF doesn't create a new job if they have to develop something new? Or
ORS.
advance something?
ORS.
So there's no job.
ORS invests in the aerospace sector.
ORS
How are you an
exists in the
increase then
status
if you don't
quo.
create a
We
new
are an
job for
increase.
like someone?
ORS exists in the
No, you
status
said
quo.
creating new jobs means we don't meet every.
If you
academic
develop
body
something,
creates
you
new
advance
I'm
jobs.
pretty
it.
sure that my entire overview is pretty clear. It's about creating a new agency. That is completely
Your whole list of
unpredictable.
like you create new jobs,
You
you
don't have
create
a
new
card that
people,
says
new
agency,
personnel.
just to clarify.
I have evidence that says that it
You
has to
have
be
a card that
something
says
that
So what is
existed.
the evidence
Yes,
about
I
the
do.
technology, not the agency? And then you say Space Guard's a new agency and it has a new jobs and stuff. That was the top of the overview.
No, the
What
top of
app-
the overview is that it's completely unpredictable
So-
to predict some like an agency
So
that doesn't
is your
exist.
interpretation that you can increase new technology? Because SSA exists now.
If it exists in the status quo, you claim advantages based off of the agency. For example, the
We
first
also
advantage you
claim
read.
advantages based off cybersecurity. That doesn't mean the plan has anything to do
Okay,
with
fine. So in that
cybersecurity.
case,
Has this
it's fine. I
Okay,
guess then it's just
so
fine for the negative
your
to
case
skew,
list,
or
your
the
case list is
affirmative to skew the
constellations,
negative strategy.
satellites, asteroid, moon, and telescopes. Why don't private counterplans and national counterplans solve 4 of those?
Solve what?
Constellation, asteroids, moon, and telescopes.
Why doesn't what?
Why don't
that?
functional limits check this? What part of those affirmatives have US key warrants? Seems like any country can do something to solve asteroids or look at the moon or
I mean,
go to
Adina
Mars.
reads a pretty compelling US key warrant that they have to be the one to do it.
Okay, so maybe asteroids. So you maybe have 2 of your case, 2 like
No, I read.
Adina develops new
5
asteroids,
things.
so they're not topical.
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
No,
So
they are.
We don't have
topical,
space-based
right?
asteroids, and we're definitely not ground-based.
No,
we also
we
don't
have.
have the NSF doing it. That's
Your
what
partner
we're
just
after.
said that we had a Crevo in the status
and
quo. You can keep
constellation,
shifting
we
what
don't
I'm
have a
saying, but it's
manned
not gonna
space
get
mission right now, so that can't be topical because it's new tech or new.
You don't have what right now?
It'd
Sorry.
be a
We
new
don't have a manned
program. Constellation
space
got
mission.
canceled.
No, we do have a
So,
manned space mission. SLS
have, like,
happened. Let's see what else.
Telescopes and
Uh,
satellites.
No, SLS happened, which is an example of the human spaceflight program, which is a reason that we have that
Okay, what
infrastructure
ground
now,
do you
which
lose
is
then?
all- I can't. How am I supposed to predict or read a dissad to an agency that
What
I have
ground
no
do you
idea?
lose? Tell me a specific.
Uh,
What's a dissad?
a politics dissad, for instance, because
How?
I can't read a link to
Your
the
link that
space
says a
bar.
space guard would drain political capital was
Seriously?
lost.
I'm saying.
And politics.
Yes, I
is
had to
the
search for
dissad
that
you're
for an
losing?
hour, and if you look at it, it talks about why agencies are
Dude,
bad.
if you search
But even
space
in
guard
that
and political
context,
capital,
it's
it comes up. How
you
does that
still
take an
lose
hour?
dissads like weaponization. You would lose multiple trade-off dissads
You lose
because
weaponization.
yeah,
How?
We put
because
satellites in
I don't have a link for the weaponization.
You don't have
dissad
links
because
to
I can't
satellites?
predict.
For sensors?
Okay, now again, you're shifting from what I was saying earlier. Yes, you have some advantage based on SSA. However, you have majority of your AF is in the context of why the space agency is good, which then means you
No.
skew the negative
That's
strategy coming out of the
Half
one
of
C.
the aerospace advantage. But okay.
It's not.
Okay, then.
So what
Is it? I just want to know.
I'll do that.
That's okay.
Correct. Everyone good?
Can you say the earn?
What?
K then politics.
Kevin Walters.
Not going for the critique, permutation, to test the competition, favor because of reason. You reject the argument, we'll continue to show distinction first, that will link turning residual often taking guard over. Nike fiat.
Reason we don't get fiat, we don't need it. Just have
Economic cause global nuclear war. That's a royal evidence they've conceded causes. Extinction. If we want a scenario for economic collapse with flip chart, actual negative additionally, or Iran strikes argument. They don't. The Afghan doesn't have people to solve the Iran strikes argument because it is a presidential decision. They don't have defense. Iran strikes causing global war and extinction. That's Chudovsky evidence indicates that if any GOP president were to win, he's going to trigger Iran. They conceded that if Obama gets payroll tax through against him, the ability to win the election means that doesn't have to do any more work on that internally. They conceded the impact also flip chart actuals with negative downturn causes war and Asia draws in China, destroys civilization. That's SCP and 11. The U.S. is the principal source of economic instability and military geopolitical position. The use military force to gain economic advantage only and consumize the global crisis. Even Obama, the United States will refocus on nations to block a third world between nuclear state which spell the end of human civilization and turns their Middle East instability arguments as working the financial crisis to weaken the governments to a new wave of security, turns to turmoil, tighten terrorist attack, radical groups of people, weakening the border of protection, threaten the Pakistan has national currency divide and hand currency reserves nearly wiped out, and economic decline turns terrorism and pure that's Bureaucratizing more than two. Groups limited access to opportunity, rationally engaged in terrorist activities with constructed panels out of 130 countries of terrorists and economic variables, terrorism appears through related to the economic business cycle period of economic of terrorist activities and means the after all happened the self-way and either relying on terrestrial economic expense to adapt with the research for spiritual expense means admitting the most exciting things are further off than we would. That is one that will have to assume the given state of the other individual most specific society will also see the drop in market terms out of the making on basis of way out of the other short-term problem solving this problem here with the research at hand is likely to be a crucial meeting longer in the major space right now will deal with their cap and trade impact turns to the top. We didn't read that was in the speech document. Should have been flowing the two-way seat based on the strategy which means they didn't read a link turn to politics, which means they've straight link turned themselves through a dissent where they've conceded a scenario for extinction means we only have to win the dissent's going to pass in the status quo and there's no thumpers coming in means we win the dissent because they've conceded a scenario for extinction have no other defense to this. They say that I'll preempt the aerospace solve the economy cross applications they're going to make and the one here first payroll taxes are key to prevent the double dip recession. It's the key internal link to the economy. They don't have a conclusive piece of reverse causal evidence that indicates that the aerospace industry is originally to solve for the economy more and more evidence here boost the purchasing power and has a multiplier effect that's Myron has put that 7 payroll tax would provide a more efficient bank for the market tax increasing consumer spending and purchasing power 1 year extension is highly preferable to any likely alternative expiration without replacement can avoid the increase for your new recession but they should reduce the probability of double dip recession that goes to the people who are most likely to spend causes a stimulus that's only 9 cuts increase consumer purchasing the power for workers at every income level the benefits limited high income earners of the church that tax sector the most likely spending additional money generating most economic activity for every $1 the economy spends by $1.27 expanding the code boost the new economy and boost super confidence sparks growth. That's the Daytona News 1025. Obama payroll tax of 2011 has been delivering enough paying for the buck payroll. It's therefore one of the most regressive taxes around the money helps stimulate the consumer demand and consumer confidence keep turning the economy around most consumer demand is desperately needed for the faltering economy and here's reverse causal evidence expiration is an anti-stimulus that's Butler 11.1. Payroll tax sector said to expire temporary benefits are built into the country's economic based on many experts or that if they expire their rights as an anti-stimulus at a time when the economy needs more. Now the tax the rich argument makes absolutely no sense when he explains it in cross we have just read about 6 charts above we have a better internal link to the economy. There's no way it can bounce out and prevent the economic collapse because it goes to people who need the money the most taxes the anti-stimulus. We have the only reverse causal evidence on war and the required us to have taxing the rich and balance anything out because it doesn't solve enough money to solve the economy because we need to put money in the pockets of people who are going to spend it now. The group their so-called thumper arguments Obama is pushing our plan to stop the docket that's true while one Obama is prepared to push the political agenda in 2012 after your legislative battles Congress the White House and GOP believe lawmakers back themselves in the debate on taxpayer will be hard pressed to back up their own assertions to continue to the 2012 and issues don't cost capital until they're at the finish line and shoving Tim political dog never market until it becomes an active one position to health reform is bottoms Obama turned into an active issue once Congress takes up the issue that's when polling tells you something and it will tell you something different. What it tells you now in State Department delays means there's no Keystone controversy that's used today. One, two, Obama warned there's some discussion about the Keystone Conundrum of the U.S. When the U.S. State Department announced postponing a decision until after the 2012 election, Obama said, hey, the next time Senator other environmental since war Nebraska the spies voted to 8 states cross proof that they don't have an argument that Obama is pushing either of the two thumpers they read of the spending political capital or that they're coming before payroll tax such as they are not thumpers. Now they say the Boehner blocks the debate. First of all, cross-check shows that this doesn't actually say Boehner's going to block it, just that the Boehner's going to make absurd claims to the White House, but the payroll tax will pass now. It's on the top of the president's agenda, and he's boxed the Republicans in. They've supported. That's our ABC News events. Having political capital is a framing issue. He's going to battle as long as he can win. It'll pass the daily times 10-11. Obama seemed to extend just pass his $447 job bill for the 165 proceeding the Senate Obama said, we're going to have to break it up about to believe America's rallying around to create the plan. The more he talks about it, the more sports will be talking about it. And passing about peace, the paradox will probably be the first president to rise the proposal as the most bipartisan support. And it'll pass because Obama will use the State of the Union, the framing that's Wall Street 1229 after Republicans and Congress took it and payroll taxes to see how hard that being waived for something on the government will be a political strategy fear like the president would make. And it's supportive of the promise of the State of the Union just on January 4th and claim the issue, mark that an issue. And Boehner will cave their evidence is posturing this film don't want to. Boehner will have to make what sounds like outrageous demands to be completely in keeping. Boehner won kudos from his caucus on the budget-related defense of 2011 when now 3 minutes White House very less long as if it's that how to for the best possible deal, left nothing on the table. The process marked that process links to determine the direction of the needs at the point where they've conceded it to try and impact her. And their argument about how aerospace checks and even the nuclear war can't solve our scenario for the Iran strikes because they've conceded it's a presidential decision because nothing else can solve it because the president chooses to do it.
$7.20.
Yeah, we'll take it back.
How do I do it to Robin Williams?
Stop track, please. Spell speech 20R. Whoa. And we're good. The order is going to be, I think so. T increase.
Wait, what's it called? Is it 6 p.m., 3 p.m.?
Should they modify? Let me check which one it says, sorry. Just to make sure. It is 6 p.m. Got it? Okay, T increase, aerospace sector, or sorry, aerospace. Smart power, space weather, politics. Okay. Okay, anybody not good? There it no ground line for his interpretation. We have SSA in the status quo, making it very predictable that all the technology fundamentally exists, which is the only predictable baseline. It's also the only standard. He means to know research and new technologies. With the Young's after 2 and the OD has it in the status quo. We just move into a different book. They also say that we create new jobs. That means that no app means to get every app that spends something new. Well, create a new jobs that creates stupid interpretation. It's also considered we don't create a new agency, but that would be a result of the plan. As a result of the process, they've also considered exploration can increase the creation of new agencies. That means that software an increase in some sort of technologies exists in the status quo. A new agency can still be talking to only 3.5 center. Your interpretation of constellation program was canceled, and we don't have the technology for a massive new space launch programs. As the second is that we definitely don't have lunar mining missions in the status quo, which means that doesn't mean that we don't. Some small satellites can see that functional limit check all of his office the international can plan with every one of those who considered RP to analysis on that they can't answer results and nothing predictable about their interpretations from random portraits and nothing about it or after they go to find under U.S. code saying that it is predictable within the federal government. That's what people look at. That's also the find original links for advocates to on the topic as well. Find the top the topics in the first one. We also give links to every single dissent on the topic of all of his ground claims. We also have cards saying that specifically SSA is a substantial increase. But they don't ever call this as agency, which means I'm not really sure what he wants his interpretation to be. He also said that this also hit the lack of parts that they have against our probably proves that they wouldn't research it anyway. We have been to a lot of tournaments this year and have been reading the same answers proofs that our competing interpretations are that is just a race to the bottom, so they go for topic of the presenting discussion about the topic, which is the only way to get it internally into relevant after he has conceded counter interpretation. Only our app is topical, which improves how stupid limits is because it's the smallest topic that would encourage much more clash over it. All the our competing interpretations are being arbitrariness is an everyone judge intervention is an everyone because lots of high school debates suck and just have different preference like Abby hating no next which means it's going to be an everyone next to the aerospace sector. First, none of it the aerospace industry cards by arguments about Stratcom and the Air Force sector being and the Air Force being talked, not the economy or the job industry being talked. Typically their ability to warfight, i.e. the government, not the private sector. They don't have to answer this. He reads a couple cards, but he doesn't send any warrants for the bioterror debate. First, evidence also consumed recent gene manipulation technology and spread of knowledge. They conceded that post-taken you need being issued on the sector because all the technology has been developed that allows it to be extincted on Schirmer and our objects have evidence is 6 years newer from last month. And their neo evidence terrorists do want to cause extinction. That was in the 1 specific Al-Qaeda plans on pre-modification next to the smart power debate. I'm not sure what he's saying. What? On the politics. I'm not sure what he's saying about multilaterals, but our NIA evidence definitely says that we increase unilaterals, and we haven't said that we cause multilaterals. What is that? Vince is talking about is the decline of the U.S. and the rise of other powers. Is the non-legitimacy in cooperation. Also, legitimacy in cooperation does solve all words despite offensive results. Our evidence assumes the nation was hard power, which makes it uniquely key. They've also conceded the cyber terror scenario, which is a separate scenario for extinction that goes on and got an answer that's not just normal terrorism next to the space weather. First, we have a resource scarcity impact that was not answered to food diplomacy to encourage global peace. That's all. The impact of the economic climate because there wouldn't be resource that's actually conceded. Next is the go to the recommend counterplan. Actually, sorry about that. Condition out is bad. They've conceded that one advocacy saw of their office assaults all the neck flexibility and breath arguments. The 2 doesn't check. We can't predict it. Still feels there's no ass side by everyone's like neck and optics of that. And also their interpretation is arbitrary too. We're just turning to 3 or 4 weeks ago. So by simply more than conceded advocacy skills, they encourage just picking any just throwing a ton of shit at the wall and choosing whichever one we undercover least gives any effective advocacy skills. They've also conceded. I'll also concede the process counterplan solve dead ground that is sufficient to solve any of the office. They have no answer to our counter interpretation, which means we have Schirmer defense against it. I don't have to do too much work here. Next is the politics. Well, first we've conceded the Middle East War 1 escalate that takes out the Iran. And also even if this is just an analytic argument, we conceded the aerospace sector is resilient, and means the argument that the aerospace sector means that the economy won't collapse out of that is conceded defense, which takes out the here's more evidence on a Margaret Land. The nation has been on the aerospace sector to ensure that America has support leading technology. The economy has benefited medical devices. Therefore, to make sure the leadership continue to need to invigorate the aerospace industry and sector investment all so durable. Means that the plan wouldn't be World Bank discussion about colonization and the ways it also doesn't turn bioterror to those specific scenarios, cyber terror. We have as long as we have airospace, we can also contain the terrorist conflicts. Really, it doesn't turn the case. And anyways, next is it doesn't solve the economy. What? I answered that. Next is the PTC doesn't increase hiring. Our evidence use was better on this question. Hasn't stimulated jobs. Our evidence use the past years more evidence. We're right 11 holidays math for windfalls that affect the long-term economic plan. It would provide very little incentive to hire on a long-term basis. Most of the money would be used due to our balance sheets and structure issues overwhelming SFJ to K11 problem with temporary tax cuts that their temporary private pockets of money bigger problems than for about weakening housing bitterness.
Clear.
People have lower expectations of income. They response by reducing consumption. We're in a ditch. We broke the economy now. Same policy said to be economic setting the 80th century. The panic show that recessions fall the crisis are longer, deep records that there is more for both of us going to magically fix the economy of the planet is a better internal link. Anyways, surely 11 the economic theory shows that we can better increase spending tax. Those are around the best paying taxes, payroll taxes, how it has a multiplier effect that the worst spending the worst spending increases. Anyways, actual Boehner evidence is actually pretty good. It says that we will block all passes. We're not even introduced it to the House. Evidence says that they want to compromise about Boehner. It's going to block that no matter what the compromises happen. Here's more evidence. World 1, 2 Boehner said that they started to discuss extended benefits at all the exposure 1 year extension to the middle class tax. They've made the comments that speak of the middle class. They gave us also all of his answers this summer's only assume legislation, which is not our argument as issues considered capital before they occur, which is enough evidence or evidence to indicate that he's still being blamed for issues in the for the status quo in the peace show. Well, it also won't pass per NYT 1226 that we issue dispute remains unresolved. We need to be addressed in Congress to sex to an election, sex agreements could resolve more health Republican House costs, so no urgent need to continue for 10 more months. Obama expected, marked it, expected, and I'll do that right now, Mahoney.
How much prep do we have?
158.
We good? Okay.
I think I get nothing at all.
I was like, that's. I didn't know if you.
I thought it was you and Carly, so it said Andy and Carly.
Yeah. Sure. I was like, so Hunger Games.
The only thing she has against is when it's like a joke about a cat or a joke. So I'm gonna put them on the season.
Well, it's not so nice. She's like, be a chance of it. Right, like,
I don't know, I can understand people like. Yeah, this year was fine. So years past.
Alright, that's time.
Viewers in the counter plan,
I'm sorry, what?
the viewers counter plan, then the politics dissat, then the aerospace advantage, then the smart power advantage, and then the weather advantage.
Excuse me.
Is everyone ready?
I don't know why he's extending conditionality to 1 hour because I definitely had a counter interpretation. I said that we can have two conditional options means that a majority of speeds goes away. First of all, because in our offense we get negative flexibility just because just he thinks process counter plans he thinks process counter plans takes that away. However, that's not true. The negative flexibility argument that I make is that we have to test the plan in different ways, like a breadth of education. Just because we have process counter plans does not necessitate that we get different types of counter plans like Pixar. Critical literature also works in the plan. Folks go to our Nico's concede creates more safe, increased education by forcing you to defend their plan in different circumstances. Also, the more real world argument goes concede indicates that only conditionality better similar to counter opponents are made with John all the time. Probably the reason we win a substantial amount of offense. I'll go to the defense argument. I don't understand what type of impact is going to conditionality because Hugh is inevitability, speed, and research. There's no reason he can go for some sort of impact. And I'm closing down the debate in the 2-R. That should check back any sort of offense he thinks he'd lose. Also, big framing issue on the condo debate. He concedes negation theory means we don't need to stable advocacy. All we have to do is prove the plan is a bad idea and reject the argument not the team. There's no reason you should reject some conditionality. Now go to the politics dissat always in terms case they have conceded the internal level of the dissat payroll taxes are key to prevent double their recession. The spiking tax on label will cause layoffs and slaves consumer spending. Some point these tax free should default to dissat because we need the half on link time frame when we get to nuclear war. The ass claims are highly expected, but even if the affirmative wins, that they do something okay, it would take forever to get the plan up and running because it would cause a huge push in infrastructure that just isn't in place in the status quo. You can only die once. It's an independent reason you vote negative. They made no arguments. The Andrew and Jordan's overview coming down to 20 are probably a reason you default to this time frame probability analysis over any argument that they try to make in the 2 AR sub-points probability, you should default to discount on the probability of our internal link space isn't the vital internal link to their advantage. However, payroll taxes are the vital internal link to their are the vital internal link to the economy now. I'll deal with his PTC isn't critical to the economy here. First of all, he should only get to make the argument that they made in the 2AC. Jordan did not make any new arguments as to why it's critical. He does not get these arguments such as it increases hiring. He can only make the argument that it leads to taxation of Republicans. That's not a reason that he should get any more of these arguments. However, none of these arguments apply because Jordan read a lot of evidence indicating why payroll tax does boost things like purchasing power. That's a Martin Highsmith evidence indicates that payroll tax cuts are the linchpin of the economy. Also, the O'Leary 99 evidence indicates that going to people most likely to spend and have a stimulus effect. They don't answer any of these arguments. Also, the consumer confidence indicates that only payroll tax cuts can actually increase investor confidence, which is the linchpin of solving for the affirmative. Now, it's in the SEP 11 evidence, the dissat turns case down, downturn causes war in Asia. That turns the legitimacy arguments. You can look back at your flow from the 2AC. His impact to legitimacy with China and Russia, both nations in East Asia, probably the reason why we turn this argument down. Extend economic decline causes terrorism, probably the reason why we access turns case argument for cyber terrorism. He tries to make this delineation, however, there's not, because my case arguments were in the question, the case arguments that I made were the case arguments that I made on terrorism were a question of intention. I said they do not have an intention. That still applies to cyber terrorism. Probably the reason why it still applies now. He says durable fiat checks back. He says durable fiat checks back the rollback argument. However, this is not true. Durable fiat does not get you out of the fact that there is no more money to do the affirmative. You can't just say durable fiat when post affirmative after a couple of days we do not have any more money to fund the affirmative. That probably is a reason it takes out a substantial amount of the affirmative. Now, go to his Obama pushing argument. Or Obama not pushing. Extend the Obama pushing evidence real of 112 evidence indicates that Obama is prepared to push the political agenda in 2012. Also, the drum evidence indicates that issues don't cost political capital until they're at the finish line. I don't even know what number he's going for because he doesn't cite anything. He just says that our evidence doesn't apply. However, you should hold the line on all of his number arguments. Extend the drum evidence makes the argument that it's only a question of legislation. However, that legislation does not have an effect on any of his political capital. Now, go to the uniqueness debate. First of all, in the payroll tax cuts will pass. The LA Times evidence indicates that they're having political capital. Political capital is a framing issue for the bill. He's going to battle as long as he can win. Will pass. He reads 2 evidence. However, I read evidence and post-states his evidence. Also, Jordan reads 5 pieces of evidence, which indicate that 5 pieces of evidence compared to his 2 pieces of evidence, which indicates that Republicans are on board, Democrats are on board, as well as Obama's trying to push it. However, it's going to be a battle. Probably the reason why you default to the link. Now, they have straight conceded the link to the dissat because of the 2AC mistake. Probably a reason that if we win a risk of any of my impact calculus, you have to go negative in this debate round. Now, go to the aerospace advantage. First of all, I don't understand this delineation he's trying to make between. Stratcom because the aerospace records you can call for them after they're in the context of also things like Boeing and Lockheed Martin, which is the reason it applies to the affirmative. Now, it's in the bioweapons defense. We read 3 cards. I've explained this above. There, you do not have the intention of using bioweapons. It doesn't matter if you have a new type of science and technology. Both these arguments go conceded. No reason I don't have to do more here. Now, go to the smart power flow. Extend the offensive realism arguments indicates that you cannot increase legitimacy. You cannot increase soft power because other nations will be offensively realist. There's no way that soft power leads to building coalitions. Don't allow any new 2-way arguments. It goes conceded. Probably the reason that they can't solve any arguments here. Now, cross-apply the terrorism arguments. It's a reason that cyber terrorism will not happen because there is no intention for cyber terrorism. Now, go to the space weather impact. Extend the Middle East stability defense and the intention terrorism arguments. There's no impact to the flow. I don't know what impact that he's trying to go for. If it's resource scarcity, Middle East profiles.
How much time do we have?
526.
20 what?
524.
Aerospace sectors were going in. That's also both considered. And that's how the PTC economy, the economy, and the economy is going to go for aerospace, maybe something to military. You also take space for this one, the impact resources. organize. This is new. Look, no such thing as manufactured context, and something clear. Let's make sure you're.
That's literally so wrong. That's.
Because it's a significant receipt funding, always a double, but no one's going to spend money anyways. Doesn't really charge you that regardless. You just moves the economy, but don't have those inaccuracies sufficient. For, you know, for the carriage space. That's not really the end. Because not extended card by name, you read what you ask for on this one.
I mean, it's still possible that I could do that because.
I was going to try something, like actually try something.
Oh.
I just asked him, I was like, right on what you would do, and he's like, I forgot. Not funny. Do you realize that you didn't lose a ballot this tournament? That where theory wasn't involved? The only ballots you lost involved theory. Every single one.
We're putting the kibosh on it.
What?
We're putting the kibosh on it.
It's done. I'm so mad.
It's the people judging.
No, I agree. But think about that for a second. The only ballots you lost involved theory.
That's time.
What on God's green earth?
Aerospace power, smart power, space weather. Is everyone good? Alright. The tuner only gets the aerospace power literally 30 seconds left, means you refer a risk of analysis and a risk of an impact probably uses the defense and the politics it probably proves and is tried out for the front of the opposite tackle command in 2013. They considered the 1AR analysis as well as the Tweezy analysis consented through Alsbay. Even if it was Blibby, they warm as they still said that new geomanipulation technologies have increased the incentive for terrorists who would get bioweapons as well as Nazis actors who get bioweapons in the law for states. His sponsor bioweapons, even if there's no intention, that intention finally is shaped because scientists have developed the new geomanipulation technologies that allow for terrorists to get technology. All the errors from 2004 to before, or at worst from 2009, not assuming the current fundamental of scientific climate and the new forms of bioweapons, terrorists, and the terrorist climate. So these were reasons to use it. Oh, by the way, that Pacific climate, everything we report a month ago, explained better. By the terror government 2018 is spread globally, and its personal mechanism will probably prove it spreads globally. None of things like antibiotics and other things like their defense, which was not really extended in the 2 hour. Probably cannot check that back because they are not going to be resistant to things like gene manipulation technology. It probably turns the economy because it finally they change the political climate to a rationality and geopolitical climate, things like that. People are likely to respond to those crises and things like bioweapons, etc., and bomb the other non-state actor or the state actor response to terrorism, etc. That was on the final evidence as well as the 2B2 is MSNBC evidence. If these are conceded arguments, none of their evidence assumes this. And now the argument about the aerospace power is about the industry, not about the Air Force being overstretched and how we integrate space services and these Stratcom space services with the civil space with the not Stratcom space services with things like warfighting capability allow for a better deterrent effect. Probably solves any escalation of a war that occur when the economy declines. However, they conceded that the aerospace industry is uniquely resilient, and that is critical as a foundation for our industrial base as well as our economy. Proves there is sufficient conceded defense for the economy. It means there's for non-smart power advantage. Our evidence indicates that military state is hurting multipolarity right now, not only increasing hard power and establish ourselves as a leader allows us to check that. That is in the Brown evidence, and that was the argument. That was an argument in the 2EC, which means there was no risk of this defense. We'll concede there's no risk. The terrorism argument, actually no, the terrorism argument is not responsive because even if that's not true, China and Russia is building cyber terror capabilities, which means they will attack us in a couple of years. That prevents any escalation because all command and control systems are based on the command cyber terror. It's also conceded more now the weather advantage. Even if food distribution, even if terrorism is not an impact, things like agriculture and multilateralism ensure that there's multilateral institution, economic independence, which solves the wars by economics prevents war. Anyway, that was a conceded argument. These were all blibby conceded arguments. However, the new 2AR analysis probably justifies the new 2AR analysis as well. And now the politics advance. The plan, so the tax cuts do not solve the economy, but the plan does. This is not new. What 2AC made the first argument, the tax cuts do not solve the economy. The one argument extrapolation basis argument. We have a comparative piece of evidence to the payroll tax quality as well as the plan. The plan to increase stimulus spending has a better multiplier effect as well. To the economy because it provides a stimulus to the economy also for industrial basis to be increased and spreads over to the global economy. The payroll tax is only short term. Well, it probably doesn't solve the stimulus or any of their hiring claims in the long term. So we only control the direction of how the economy will actually go. The only thing to do with 2NR was very, very blippy on this portion of the debate. Then 1 year with a bunch of crises. You should refer that because that's the only way to get us back in the game. Now there's multiple reasons why they not solve the economy. Ace of point is hiring. There's no incentive because there's a long-term basis for there's no long-term basis for the payroll tax cuts, and the people who receive the payroll tax will only keep the money instead of consuming, which is a reason why they have us all there. There's a framing issue that you should prefer evidence that is more recent than theirs as well as more qualified. All our evidence as well is from qualified economics, and the worst piece of evidence we have is a cum laude graduate from Harvard in economics probably proves that it probably outweighs things like their staff writers that they're trying to say that hiring is the internally that's their right evidence probably proves that the internally probably outweighs their investment internally because if there's no jobs and if there's no jobs in the economy, there's no reason why they'd be able to invest in the companies when they're struggling. There's a weak industrial base. Now, the second is multiple structural issues, things like temporary, because the tax cut is fundamentally temporary. People will only pocket the money, which means there is no stimulus because the thesis of the payroll tax cut is based on consumption and consumer spending. That consumer spending has fundamentally not worked. We've indicted the theory because that means it's a bigger internally to the economy because industries and the economics will only stay stable and unless that's true. That's when the SCAP again cites 88 studies by economics probably outweighs any other outweighs any other staff argument. No turns case argument. The argument on turning space powers by durable probably solves that because the spending we mandate spending immediately. However, the argument about space exploration and space flight, not about increasing sensors on civil SSA. That is just a fundamentally logical argument, which is probably true. The terrorism argument is not true. Arguments in case China and Russia are heading against us, and bioweapons probably turn bioweapons are probably changed that calculation probably. And it's true. They've also considered the terrorism defense, which probably because even if terrorism terrorism and nuclear terrorism is bad, nuclear terrorism doesn't cause extinction. Of bioweapons and cyber terror will uniquely cause extinction. That is the only scenario for escalation. There is hardly any defense extended to 2NR against our advantage. There's a high risk of an advantage. There's multiple conceded arguments, especially when they conceded that the aerospace industry is resilient and was the foundation of our economy. That was conceded argument. I don't want to spend time here, and that's the reason why we win. Good day.
Thank you.
You have a jump drive.
Mark this there, speakerphone.
Here.
What?
Like everyone's laughing, like, oh, this is sad. I might scratch all of the parts of the moment all around.
Sorry. What? Yeah.
What would you do without me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a protein bar and I'm only on one space, so I'm probably fine. I can eat after that. Do you have a protein?
Can I see your new Gene Tech card?
Yeah, sure.
And here's all these cards. That's the first one. So the first two cards, right?
Yeah. It's the first two cards. Aerospace advantage. PTC doesn't sell.
Including like the plant solids and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you want the aerospace sustains economy card from the winner too?
I just want the cards about, okay, I want the aerospace one AC, I want the aerospace cards about the economy, and I want the aerotech cards about the economy.
Okay.
From the next, I want the 1 and C for payroll tax credits, I want the payroll tax credits, keep the economy stuff in the black,
This is their card.
and the aerospace defense. It goes to me.
You have to jump right there. And I can jump you this
There you go. You can have these back.
Yeah, I'll leave that. What's the card?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's unbelievable. Did you watch the replay yet? It's got, I mean, it must have been like first play from scrimmage and overtime. He throws an 80-yard touchdown. They must have done like everybody's like they're gonna run the ball or whatever, and they just like swing it out. All I can do is see like Yahoo Sports. It was an 80-yard touchdown.
Wow.
Tebow. That must have been a great game. It's like sitting here like here I am judging debates on Sunday, and there was this like awesome football game. This morning game might as well be judging debates.
Yeah.
The Broncos Steelers game. I don't really know, but it looked like it must have been great. Because Pittsburgh had to make some kind of a huge comeback just to tie it back. They were down 10 in the fourth quarter.
I have sent it to you. You have to go.
There's some crossover here. So, the economy is growing cards. The economy impact debate. Most of that is theirs, I believe, but for you, I want the aerospace cards. I want your planetary impact, your secretary. That would include
I'll just take out all the solvency in there.
Awesome.
And I included, Abby, in the aerospace resilience chart is one that they read in the 1 and C. And the one that says executive economy is the one that I read in the 1 and exchange.
Great. Let me just double check. Any questions for right now? If there's anything else.
Can I get the first card and the 2AC economy card, taxes don't solve the economy, and then your 1AR cards?
Including the plan to solve card?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. One has cards for And does that include the aerospace sustains the economy card?
All your 1AR cards.
Okay. And
That 2AC card, the taxes don't solve the economy. That's the only 2AC card I want right
do you
now.
want the, I included for her the 1NC aerospace resilient card, do you need that?
I mean, but if you already have a doc and you're just gonna give me the same doc, that's fine.
I got you anyway. This is called cards for Mahoney, and then if you could just give me the jump drive when you're done, so I can give it to Sarah.
That's not bad.
No, but,
Kind of look at personality.
right, exactly.
But I mean, don't take that wrong.
No.
Title should be obvious.
Here you go, Wow. Thank you.
And it's called cards for Sarah. It's like a cards for judges, semis, and
Cool, thank you.
Gabby, though.
Oh, it's not.
It's just Gabby's from the
Just generally, can I just bring up my
Wait,
phone?
who was the
Generally,
2AC
when I
card
forgot,
from?
I just went eating.
What?
Who was the 2AC card from? Do you know?
You just did this.
Brill? Brill in 12-6.
Okay.
so far away. Good job. Where is it? I am.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Said something about grouchy.
I know. Probably doesn't.
I said Krabby Schirmer.
Oh.
Krabby Schirmer.
After that Schirmer.
It's not Krabby got you right out of it.
Oh, wow.
Scabby, that's forward.
It's not in it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Schirmer.
Thank you.
I just sent it.
I got it.
I think I'm missing one thing in this file that you just gave me. Because I also wanted the economy stuff from the DISAD, the internal link debate and returns case study and all that.
Right.
So if you can just add that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What, you need a card? Can't have gone far.
Wait for it.
Wait, did you want politics
Oh.
to be common cards?
They're not, I didn't see,
Oh.
hold on, maybe I'm just looking at headings and they're not showing up.
Yeah, right.
It's under P2 account E.
Waiting it out.
Is it in the cards for Abby?
How'd it go?
No, these cards.
I think.
Oh, I opened
Yeah,
the document that said that had my name on it. There was a document that said Sara
Yeah, that was
Sanchez.
Victor jumping into
And I just
creative
assumed
too.
that, okay, just kidding. So, I should have asked which document. Which one is it?
Case card series.
Thank you, sorry. That was my dad. I saw a document with my name on it. I was like, this is obviously my
And then
part.
also extended to Gemini.
That was Victor.
We conceded that, so that was gonna impact their tech diffusion DA, and just went for water scarcity as abstractly, but the app solves like.
Ah, there it's all. We're good. You can have this back.
I'm just waiting it out.
Wait that out.
I don't want to hit you.
What's that? Three, 30, nothing large enough to gain by the nature.
Nick, can I see your internal link to the double dip recession, your consumer spending card, your Martin Highsmith card, and I think that's it for right now.
It'll all be in case card series under key to econ.
Where'd you get the Coke? Oh, that sounds really cool. When is it?
I gotta think about it.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
thought
should
you
do
said-
I'm sorry, Pace cards, Semis, or Pace politics?
Case card semis, it'll be under K2 econ.
Got it. Is the 1 and C in here too?
If not, it's in the one for, the one in C card.
Yeah.
No, that should be in the one, the documents for Abby, it's on the flash drive too. It's called the scan drive.
Yeah, I do it.
That's the one in C.
I thought you were doing.
Hey,
Hey.
how you doing?
You're good.
We're gonna, whoever wins, we're gonna have a finals and we're gonna have some, even if this is, we're gonna have some dinner down at Massey Commons or end up the term there, it's a bit easier to feed you after the debate. So we'll order before the debate and then during the debate we'll go get it and bring it to you. So during the decision time, we'll have some dinner. Perfect.
The new Caesar's.
Well, Caesar's.
It's closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Caesar drank away the profits, so
Oh.
they finally closed it down. But nonetheless, we'll get you some Italian food to carbo load in. God, it's hot in here.
Yeah, you should pin it open actually, since the debate's over.
Where's the
this debate? What happened in this debate?
Pace, you can have your jump shot.
Thank you.